The Galaxy S25 Ultra is finally here. Some people are really excited, like me. Others a bit annoyed, and we'll cover all of that. What's really exciting to me though is hearing all your questions that you've been asking me, like Kako Singh, apologies for the pronunciation, wondering here if the camera alone is worth the upgrade. Sir H. Bourne, who's gone full Shakespeare here with this question, to get or not to get? That is indeed the question. Ahmed asking about switching from an iPhone, is it hard? Ahmed, yeah, I won't lie to you, moving ecosystem is pretty hard, as I discovered the hard way. And that's barely scratching the surface of all the S25 Ultra things that we need to talk about. But did Samsung actually manage to improve what was already a great device in the S24 Ultra? And how does it stack up with the competition? All the other Android devices that are out there that are also great phones. And indeed, how does it stack up against the iPhone? I'm Alex and I make down-to-earth tech videos to help you figure this stuff out. This is my second year being invited to Samsung's London offices here to preview their flagship, and it's always an exciting time for me to see what they've been working on. I recorded this video that you're watching right now after playing with the S25 Ultra for a bit, and as you're watching this, I will have my Galaxy S25 Ultra in hand and already working in my full review. And just like every year, I will be covering lots of real-world scenarios that go beyond just the spec sheet and unboxing. But today is about my S25 Ultra first impressions and answering some of your questions. First up, battery life. Honestly, this was one of my biggest concerns coming from the S24 Ultra. This phone isn't bad, right? But it did struggle a little bit with endurance, especially in busy days, for taking lots of photos and 4K videos. In those days, I did struggle with it and I had to top it up, in the afternoon. The S25 Ultra still has a 5000 mAh battery, same as last year and the year before that, but the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy is supposed to be more efficient and overclocked for Samsung. I can't judge the battery yet, I don't think anyone can, and it would be disingenuous to even try, because it does take a week or two in my experience for the phone to kind of adapt to your usage patterns and but early signs, I will say this, they're very promising and I'll keep you updated in my full review. For now, I can definitely say if battery life was a pain point for you, like it was for me in the S24 Ultra, then it's looking good. Let's talk about the design, because this might be one of the biggest, if not the biggest talking point this year, right? Samsung has moved away from the sharper corners that the S22 Ultra started, and the S23 and the S24 probably the sharpest corners that I've ever seen. The flat display was a welcome change to me last year, but we are back to rounded corners, something that we haven't seen really since the S21 Ultra. How do you feel about that though? Are you in the camp that is sad to see those sharp corners go? Or like me, are you happy with this change? For me, the design feels fantastic in the hand, which, from a usability perspective, is quite important. Honestly, this might be the first phone actually, that I don't put a case on. Like, it feels that good to use. And yeah, you can quote me on that. In fact, this was the first thing that I said at Samsung when I was having a nice chat with Matt.
I think so many people thought that the design was going to stay for another 2 generations. So obviously we got the flat screen last year, and then everyone just thought this year, oh well, they won't bother with it, they'll just leave it.
I'm glad they went this way.
And I know, and to be honest, I don't know about you, but it just feels so more right in your hand.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a big thing for a lot of people.
I'm tempted not to use a case for this, because it's actually so nice to hold.
Yeah, it feels so good. Obviously a case will probably ruin all the cornering.
But here's the thing, design changes like this are often polarizing. They're designed to do that. Some people love it, some people won't. So if you're coming from the S22 Ultra, S23 or 24 Ultra, I'd love to know, what do you think? Now the display, Samsung already had the best display, I think, in the game here with the S24 Ultra. At least I haven't experienced anything that comes even close to this here in the West. I've tried a few Chinese brands, but I'm not sure there's anything out there that comes anywhere near the S24 Ultra display. And now by the looks of it, they've gone a step further, which is incredible, right? Especially that anti-reflective coating is noticeably improved. I wouldn't say it's a night and day difference, it's not, especially if you're coming from the S24 Ultra, but that difference, though small, is definitely there. Where this really shines, if you pardon the pun, is when you compare it to the iPhone or other Android phones in direct sunlight. That's where you're gonna see the upgrade and where you're gonna go, right, okay, I can see what they've done here. I'm already working on a detailed video to show you how the display performs in, real world scenarios, day-to-day stuff, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, so keep an eye out for that. Now, let's address the proverbial elephant in the room, right, the cameras. More specifically, shutter lag. I've been thinking about this a lot. It's been a complaint for a few years now, and Samsung claims they fixed it. But if you know me, you know that I'm not gonna take their word for it. I'm gonna have to test it. In theory, it should be gone. And I haven't gone to California and I haven't really spent a lot of time with the new device. But my brother from another mother, Daniel from Tech with Benefits, he was there and he sent me a couple of clips already. It feels like it's been fixed. If it's still there, I'll 100% let you know. I will test it myself as well and show you it. And if it's gone, that's a huge win. Probably more for the internet, for tech Twitter perhaps. I certainly have seen it and I was able to replicate it several times. And I'd go as far as saying it would be unacceptable really, considering how smaller players are able to create even specific camera modes that deal with fast moving subjects. And they are using, in theory, right, slightly less powerful chips, as in not overclocked. I'd also say that the term shutter lag may be confused at the moment because people see the blurry image as a result of a slow shutter. The slow shutter hasn't really been there for a while, right? They fixed it before, but it's the fact that the moving subject was getting blurry. What excites me more though is the advances in night photography and video, nighttime photos and videos, which every year we see an improvement, but this for me is really cool. They do feel to me like more practical, more useful than crazy zoom levels. They've done some stuff in there as well, but I'm really gonna see how this performs against competitors. Just later, well, tomorrow, I will be taking the S25 Ultra against some of the competition that you see here. And speaking of the competitors, let's not forget how fierce it's getting, right? Brands like Honor, OnePlus, Oppo, Xiaomi, they're doing incredible things with cameras. So Samsung really needs to deliver here. And talking about delivery, they've done something finally that to me is incredible. I'd say that's top 3 in terms of all the upgrades they've done, and that's Samsung Log. This is going to be a big deal, especially if you are a content creator or if you want to differentiate your footage in any way for video. If you're unfamiliar with Log, it's like a blank canvas for video, right? It captures a very flat, desaturated image with more detail in highlights and shadows. That might sound boring, right? But in post-production is when the magic happens. It gives you full control to really make the footage look exactly the way you want in terms of color grading. This is a feature you'd expect to see in like professional cameras and the iPhone, but seeing it on the S25 Ultra for the first time is exciting for me. I'll be testing this thoroughly, but early impressions, it's a fantastic addition for video creators. I've already started working on my own look and feel, and hopefully that's something that if you're interested in, you might be able to get it, which would be cool to support the channel as well. And talking about that, I just want to say thank you so much for all your support in the last video and all my videos so far anyways. It's now my 5th year doing YouTube, and without you, I wouldn't be here at Samsung, having a preview of the phone. By the way, this video doesn't have a sponsor, sadly, so I would really appreciate your help in sharing this content, with your friends or, anyone who likes tech, really. Leaving a thumbs up doesn't sound like a lot, but it does mean a lot to me. It helps YouTube show this video to more people. And I won't ask you to subscribe unless you like my content. I cover a lot of different tech here that you might not be a fan of. And look, one thing I am is passionate. I'm passionate about all these gadgets. So after seeing this video, have a browse on the channel, and if you like my stuff, it would be awesome to have you here. To close the loop on cameras and to do a little bit of a preamble to Galaxy AI, all of these improvements wouldn't be possible, right? They're directly related to the power of Snapdragon. I, for one, am glad that they are sticking with this Qualcomm chipset. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried when Samsung started using Exynos on the S24 Plus last year, in some regions anyway. Not to say that the Exynos last year wasn't great. I mean, in fact, I was really surprised at how good it was. But seeing Snapdragon 8 Elite in all these other brands and seeing what's possible there, it made me really excited about what Samsung could come up with. And when it comes to Galaxy AI, I wanted to have a proper look at privacy and security.
Sure, so we've been using kind of blockchain technology anyway, like in the past couple of years.
Right, yeah.
But also as well, you can then process data on device only as well. So if you are worried about that, even better. Now our police force, all of our blue light force users, Samsung, because of how protected you are with Samsung Knox as well. On top of that, you've got auto blocker. So you can go to settings, security, turn on auto blocker. So you can even say for example, you're charging up with a cable that's not yours.
Right.
And if that's got any nefarious kind of like, if that's kind of like steal data, it'll block.
Oh,
well.
Nice.
So
That's
anything's
really
been
cool.
sent to you.
Alex,
it's good.
Always great to see you here, man.
Alex,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Cheers.
Right, take care.
Cheers.
Nice, Alex.
See you,
Thank
mate.
you.
Right. I mean, we're sharing so much information out there with machines in the cloud, and I know it's kind of unavoidable, really, considering how many devices are listening to everything we do, right? But with privacy and data security, I don't think we can be too careful or too protected. So I was pleased to hear that Samsung is paying attention to this with Samsung Knox, and I learned a couple of cool facts as well in this chat. Alex from Samsung there, you know, featuring again here on the channel. It's becoming a bit of a tradition now. I just love his enthusiasm, you know? The final point on Galaxy AI is that there's a lot that won't even feel like AI. Let me try to explain this. I think it'll be the little things like removing unwanted audio, for example, from a video. Sure, we've seen this before, like, you know, if you go back to the Pixel 8 Pro, I believe, but I love how accurate and responsive it is now, all thanks to Snapdragon and Galaxy AI. Everything's happening on device and very quickly, and I think that's the main differentiator there. There's a lot of marketing attention, right, to things that will be given like generation of images, and at the end of the day, I just think it's the stuff that makes us either more productive or more efficient in what we do on a daily basis that will make us feel like it was money well spent. So is the Galaxy S25 Ultra worth upgrading to? If you're on a S24 Ultra, I'd say it depends. If the camera upgrades, new design, and all these added new features matter to you to the point where they might make a difference in your work, then it's definitely worth considering. I'd always recommend, you know, you to do that if it's gonna make financial sense, especially if you can get a good deal at launch. Samsung in some regions, they are really competitive. But if you're happy with your S24 Ultra right now, or even your S23 Ultra, it's not gonna be a must-have, right? I gotta be honest here. For those on older devices like the S22 and older, I'd say the S25 Ultra will definitely feel like a significant step up. Which brings me to my buying guide video. I will be considering the S23 and S24 Ultra for sure, because not everyone can go to the S25 Ultra or need to. I'll leave you here with these as my first impressions, but with a promise to release my full review in the next, I'd say 2 days. And I hope to see you there. Cheers.